What's up, Quarter Crew? Welcome back. Hopefully, y'all had a good weekend. Back at it again for Easter week. Seeing if we can get any trades in. I don't believe we had anything on Friday. Thursday, we might have had something, if I remember correctly. So we'll go back to that day and see if we got anything. Yeah, I think we were looking at the short on Thursday. I think that's what it was. And I believe we actually we ended up playing that out. So I guess, well, I remember we took the short on Thursday. I don't remember if we did it on the stream or not. We might have been talking about it. Let's see, been around 10. So yeah, maybe we were talking about it. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember if we actually took it on the stream or not. But I believe we did. I believe we took it down. I actually just deleted the other positions. I forgot we had took one on Thursday, but yeah, it kind of played out. So the system definitely played out. You can see it's all sitting right there. Played out pretty good all the way down. Actually ended up hitting target 4. Did it? Oh, sorry. No, target 3. That's right. Yeah, we took it. We took the trade. It kind of spiked down. Spiked down here and then continued down. We kind of watched it, jumped out around here, and then it continued down all the way to 3. And then kind of hit 3 a couple times and then kind of bounced up coming into this, into Sunday and then into Monday, really. So. Yeah, kind of interesting. And then yesterday we were looking at taking this long here, going up to target 1. It never actually ended up firing for us, so we weren't able to jump into it at all. Yeah, okay, sorry, the lines are off. We set it for it yesterday. Yeah, these are the lines from yesterday, so you can see the long was set there, and we were watching it through most of the day. It kind of came up and broke through it a little bit, but never ended up actually giving us the close above, so we weren't able to jump in and take the trade. Just kind of set sideways. We'll have to jump in though today and see where the levels are, see what we can jump into today. Just looking at it for the live stream, it's looking like we're going to get a short trade again today. So we'll see what happens with that. We're going to have to jump in and get the line set up and see what Kubota says. Real quick, we want to say good morning, everybody. So good morning, Spirit Maker. Good morning, Kathleen. Good morning, Terry. Welcome in. Thanks for joining the live stream. Yeah, we got one going on Monday, or every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8:30. So if any of y'all are just now joining us, make sure you hit that bell notification so you can always catch our lives. And while you're there, just hit subscribe, hit that thumbs up. Really helps our videos grow, helps us reach more people. Yeah, let's go set it up though and see what we got for today. So we'll head on over to Kubota.com here. Just like that. And this is what we're looking at for today. So we got Bitcoin running here. We got a little bit of a long, actually coming in at 2.13%. It's extended magnet. Below that, we got a 0.89% magnet here on the short. So that's actually the favored trade today. That's why there's a little star next to it. And then just looking at the other, really just ETH, I guess. Both of these are telling us that we're looking for a down trade today. So we're definitely thinking we're looking at more of a down trade today for sure. So yeah, that's kind of what it's looking like right there. There's no up trade for ETH either. So really just the down trade for both of them. And then there is the possibility of a long here on Bitcoin. We'll go ahead and get our data here though and paste it into Bitcoin. So we'll just grab our data from here, head back to our charts, and like I said, mine is the more advanced indicator, but Yours will be the same thing. It'll just open up. There'll only be one paste area, so you just go ahead and paste it in there. Once you get the new levels in there, we'll just go ahead and close it out, and these are what they look like. So I'm going to take our trade from yesterday off here for now. Alright, and there we go. That's today's setup. So you can see came down, bounced up, and now we're right in between our two lines. So a pretty tight little gap here in terms of the gap between the break up and breakdown line. We got our daily support right here in the blue dashed line. Right here in purple is our breakdown, green's break up, and then up here in red is going to be our it's going to be our resistance line up here, our daily resistance. So if we were to take that up trade, we'd most likely be targeting that daily resistance, whatever target that's at. And then if we're taking the down trade, we're going to be looking for the target of this daily support here. So ideally, that's where you'd be looking for. Not to say that it couldn't go down farther. We could break through, continue down. Could come all the way down to this 65 range, maybe fill in the gap. Who knows? But yeah, so right now that's kind of what we're looking at, is just that breakdown trade is what we're thinking is going to happen. But we do have to wait for this close. We got about another 8 minutes or so before this candle actually closes, and then we can determine a little better what we're actually going to be looking at. And you don't want to be really looking at it until after that candle. So in terms of what we're looking at, that's pretty much it. We can go ahead and throw our trade on here as well. So we'll head back to Conbrota, open up the cockpit here. We're going to want the short today. Like I said, there is that long today, so the long's going to be on here, but we want our short. So copied our short and go back to go back here to our trading view screen, and we'll go ahead and throw that right into our trade indicator. And so that's what we're looking at. So pretty close. It looks like that's around target 3. You're almost getting a target 3 if you run down and hit the daily support here. If we're looking at taking that trade down, it's kind of something like this. So if it did end up hitting a target 3, you'd make about a 1.5. More than likely, like I said, we would be targeting the daily support here. So more of just a little over a 1-to-1, one almost, I guess like a 1.4 almost. So not too bad, not too bad. A little bit of a trade, you put on 100, you make 140. So that's not bad at all. Making a little money on the side, keep grinding a little money, and over time you're going to be having a pretty good account sitting there. So not too bad. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but for us, that's not too bad. And you could mess with it a little bit if you want to be a little more advanced. Maybe you could move your stop down. You got to know, like, whenever you move your stop around like that, the closer to price action you put your stop, the closer you're going to be to that. Like, the more you're going to risk, I guess is what I'm going to say. The more farther down your stop is, the more risky you're kind of getting as we go. But yeah, that's trade there. Again, we're not here for financial advice or anything, but that is definitely what our system is saying. So if you're following along with the system, that's what we're looking at today. We can go ahead and set up Ethereum as well. So head on over to our Ethereum chart. This one I have set up a little bit more, probably like most of y'all have it set up. So we'll just go ahead and get our stuff on here. These are old levels, probably from Thursday, honestly. I don't believe Ethereum had anything on Friday, so most likely they're from Thursday, maybe Friday. But we'll go back to Roto.com here, exit out of our cockpit for Bitcoin, and we're going to grab our data here. Click the data button for Ethereum here, and we'll throw it on our chart right into the indicator. So looking a little bit more wide here on the gap than Bitcoin. 30-minute range is pretty decent size, pretty close to the bottom as well, so pretty good sign for the short. We got our breaking out of the top side of our 30-minute range, just like Bitcoin. Here on this predator candle, got about another 4 minutes on that until we get that close, so we'll see what happens here. Again, this one we're looking for a short as well, so we can go ahead and throw that on there too. We'll open up the cockpit, grab our trade, and we're going to head back to trading view and throw it into our indicator here. And that didn't work. It's taking a second to load, I think. There we go. Took a while to load. I've never had that happen before. This is what we're looking at here. So we'll take the trade here as it breaks down below. We get a close below, and then the next candle will jump into that one. Only taking it to the daily sport, really. So almost a 1-to-1. Not too bad again. Like I said, you're just putting a little money in the count button, getting it, padding your wallet a little bit. We still got to get that breakdown and everything though, so it's definitely there. It's something to watch. If Bitcoin starts to break down, you could Ethereum's also going to be right behind it, so not too bad of a trade. Not looking for anything crazy though, like I said, just down to the support line here. So yeah, overall, looking pretty good today. Getting a little spike out of the top here on the Predator candle, but like I said, we're thinking it's going to go more short, so maybe not something crazy here. We're not crazy about the long for today, as of right now at least. Gotta have some water. Yeah, just gotta wait for this candle to close. Y'all have to let me know in the comments what you think y'all's plans are for Easter. It's coming up. I think it's this weekend, so if you guys have to let me know if you guys do anything fun for Easter. We'll be, like, most of ours will just be kind of hanging around the house. Head on, go to church, maybe hang out with some friends and family, have some dinner, have a little Easter dinner there. So yeah, nothing crazy, just a nice little holiday there on Sunday, so should be pretty good. We don't do much for Easter week besides going to service on Good Friday as well, so yeah, not a whole lot Easter wise, I guess, going on this week. But yeah, pretty excited, I guess, for Easter, and that should be fun. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Got about another 20 or so seconds, and we're pumping down below our line again on the Predator candle. So interesting price action here on that. That looks like a little bit of our spike up through our breakout trigger, so that could have just come up and got some liquidity, and then we're gonna head down. Could come up, and continue up here, but we'll see. yeah, we have been testing a few more things. Been kind of looking at some advanced strategies here on the price action. So you know, maybe we'll be talking about those on the channel soon, but as of right now, mostly they're pretty advanced. So we're looking to mostly teach more basic stuff, I guess, here. Easier to read stuff that you don't have to know as much TA and stuff for. So but yeah, just been kind of checking out the charts, looking around, looking at some different indicators and stuff like that. Trying them out with the Kubota system, seeing how they play out. Yeah, pretty good spike up here to the upside. Pretty nice. See, we should check where target 1 is here on the upside. Wow, so it's all the way up at target 5 here. If we're going to run all the way up to the break, or the resistance up there, all the way up to target 5. So pretty crazy. That'd be a pretty crazy run up here if we were to get that. Like I said, not super excited about that trade though. So we'll see what happens here on this candle. Again, if you're following our system to the T, technically you'd be waiting. You wouldn't want to take this trade anyways, just because if you're looking at our system here, the one with the star is typically the one you'd want to trade. So that's kind of part of the system, I guess. That's like one of your check boxes that you want to check, is like, does the trade have a star? Now, if you're getting a little more advanced, you could kind of say, well, you know, since the star is just one of the check boxes, I only need some of the check boxes to take a trade. And so you could say, okay, well, the long doesn't have a star, but you know, everything else is checked on my checklist, then that's fine as well. But just saying, you know, if you're following to a T the system, then technically yes, the short is the one that you'd be looking at today. Honestly, the favored one even for us today is the short, which it's not always the case, but typically yes, the short is the favored one there. So we'll see what happens with the trade. A little bit of a breakout here, so we'll see if we can get the close, and then we'll look at it. Yeah, if we did get the trade up, we'd be looking at pulling it right here. And we could flip this here and see what we got. Oops. Reverse. So if we took this trade, we'd kind of be looking something like that. Take the trade up to, I would almost pull it right there somewhere. So almost a 3-to-1, not too bad. If we were to get that, it would need to come down. Yeah, there is a possibility here of the long forming. It's definitely setting up. So yeah, not bad. It did hit target 1, almost target 2 already. So we'll see what ends up happening here with the flip. We can go ahead and throw the long on here since it's starting to set up. So we'll head back on over to our Kubota.com page, open up, and we'll grab the long here, see what it looks like. Ooh, excuse me. Back to trading view, and we'll open up our indicator here and throw the long on. Yeah, so there's the targets. Like I said, more than likely we're going to come up to this daily resistance here. So, and you could be targeting that exactly. It would be a little bit better of a trade, I guess, if you did. But with this zone here, I would be a little worried about it. So maybe, you know, you could take it more conservative and just kind of pull it right when it gets up there. Not a bad trade, you know, that would get us right in the, that would get us out, you know, before it comes up and hits this, and it could just spike up and hit this. So, you know, I guess there's a worry of not getting out, or maybe you're a little too stingy on where you put it, and maybe it only spikes up to like right here, and you're pretty close to the thing. You know, anything like that could happen. So sometimes it's better to play off the targets a little bit, and that's what I'm thinking for today. But yeah, that is the target there, and then I guess we'd be kind of targeting under it a little bit to ensure that we get our position taken off at the right time. But yeah, we're gotta wait another 7 minutes or so for this to close. We don't want to be jumping into this thing before it's ready. It's definitely not the case. Yeah, just it's the boring part of our system, you know, just waiting around for the candle to close, seeing if you can get that up trade or the down trade. Sometimes you have to wait a while, sometimes it's not as long, but you know, there's times when you're sitting here for maybe an hour or two just waiting for the candle to close. And you don't have to like stare at the charts, obviously. You know, it's a 15-minute candle. You can, I mean, really, I guess you could turn it on and check every 15 minutes and see what happens if you wanted. I think it'd probably be more work, but a lot of times, like, I'll be sitting here doing something else, kind of keeping an eye on the chart, but not like intently just like watching, waiting for the candle to close. I'll be doing something else, you know, whatever that is, just something that's easy. Yeah, we'll see what happens though. This thing might run pretty good here on this candle, and then that would make me a little nervous to get in. Like, we're already hitting target 2 here, and we haven't even gotten the candle closed. So yeah, we'll see. What could happen too is it could come up, get the close up here by target 3, and then by the time we're kind of ready to jump in, it's pretty much already done the move it's going to do, and then now it's coming back down. So it might be better to just watch out. Yeah, already hitting T2 though. Not too great. Yeah, just waiting on that close. If we do get that close, we'll be waiting on the... Well, I mean, technically, if we get the close, you just jump in. Me, I would probably be waiting more on a limit a little bit lower. Just not... It's pretty high up there already. So I'll be waiting on a limit down in this range to jump in. Yeah, we are. I'm thinking if we do get a close here on the long, I'm thinking we'll more than likely get a little bit of a trade back down into this range here. So more than likely you can get this range. Actually, a lot of times that we've been kind of watching it, especially recently, it does end up coming back close to the entry. So if you're looking to take it like pretty close to here. Now, one thing to be mindful of is don't be like super stingy, because I have gotten hit by that too, but you want to make sure that you're kind of off the line, maybe just a tad, maybe even something like that. Just enough, like I was saying, same thing with the target, you know, instead of taking it exactly there, maybe you want to be off of it a little bit. It's kind of the same here with the entry. So if you want to be in your limit here, you don't want to be right on this line, because technically it should hit that line, but like we always say, support and resistance are zones, so you want to be off of it a little bit, so then that way you know that you'll get hit, even if it just kind of comes down and touches the top of the zone and then fires off. And you know, it's not perfect, it's not a perfect science, so even though you're off of it a little bit, you might still get missed, but it's just a little precaution there. And, you know, it might even come down and hit that perfectly. Who knows? It's just kind of how it is. But we are looking more at that long right now. We flipped from that short. The long broke the entry line here, so that's what we're looking to take now. Got about another minute and a half before we see the candle close here. Definitely looking like it's going to close above the entry. You know, can't stay for certain, but definitely a high probability that it stays above this entry line. We get to close, and then we'll be looking at taking that trade down there. So see what happens here on the next minute or so, and see if we can jump into this thing. Kind of time to get it set up on this stuff if you're looking to do that. So this is kind of mine, I guess, if you want to just go ahead and screenshot it or whatever. But that's what I'm looking at. Like I said, we are not here for financial advice or anything like that, just for yeah, helping y'all out. So just here to educate y'all. There we go, we got another second. Boom, there's the close. Next candle open. Technically this is the entry point there, right there. Like I said, we're going to be throwing ours down here a little bit, so I'm going to move it off this candle just for sake of seeing it on the chart, because if you have it like wherever you put it, if it's on a candle, if there's a candle that went through your entry after you like move it on top of, then it will say you entered there. So you can see how it's like a lighter green here now up to this candle. So it's basically, it's saying we entered here. And there's also a little line that draws from the dot here up, so it's saying, oh, you entered here. and right now your trade's right here, and then if it goes all the way to the top, it'll say, oh, you got out now. Looks like it's just gonna fire off though here, so I guess if you just jumped in there, you kind of got it there. Yeah, pretty interesting day so far actually with that break, and then we're continuing up there. We did a little spike up there, coming back under T2 now. Like I said, we're still sitting right there, waiting for that entry there. My trade's a little off here. Interesting. All my entries off, that's what it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, pretty good little trade here if we get it. Whoop. Oh yeah, here we go. A little bit of a breakdown. Yeah, looking for it to come down a little bit. You can see a little bit of a spike down, come down, get us, and then continue up. Like I said, we're ideally looking for it to run up here to this, but we definitely are going to watch it at that zone. I guess you could either play it like this here, like I said, or you could even run it up here and then be watching it as it comes up. Depends on how you want to play it, I guess. There's a couple mindsets, I guess, that kind of go into that. I mean, you could be up here and be like, oh, I'm going to take it down here. Or you could even, and that's just more like, I guess that's more average, I guess, if you want to sit here. You could pull a little bit more out of it. It's honestly not that crazy. Or you could play a little more conservative and, you pull it down here, like I said, and then you just know, like, when it comes up there, boom, gets you out, and you don't have to worry about the possibility of it coming up here a little bit or maybe break it down. You just pull it off at the easy target to take, I guess to say. So yeah, this is the system, though. The system is calling it. So yeah, throw it in the chat if you guys are watching this thing, or if you guys are in it. Be interested to know. Oh yeah, end of the month charts this week. Actually end of the month today, right? Oh yeah, 31st. We are end of the month today. We need it to close bullish. Spirit Maker's saying so. If we're going out to a month, let's go to our investment tab. We're going out to our month here. Whew. Don't got a lot of room to pull bullish. We got about 9 hours on this thing, or is that? Yeah, it's got to be hours. 9 hours on this thing. Man, we are not very far into the bullish territory. We got not a whole lot of room. Not a whole lot of room. Do need that to close bullish though. So we'll need it to rip up today, really, I guess. That doesn't mean it's going to, but that means that we want it to. Breaking down here a little bit. Here we go. A little bit of a breakdown. Like I said, we want to get the breakdown here to our trigger. Jump in, then we can take this thing to the upside. Run it all the way up, pretty close to that. The resistance. We're targeting this zone here. It's actually two zones. So we have this zone here. These are the longer time frame zones. It's part of our Cabrota Intel indicator. But you can see we have this zone here, and then we actually have another zone on top of it. That's why it changes color from here to here. Gets a little darker because this is actually another zone. So there's two zones on top of each other right here, which means it's a pretty decent little bit of resistance there. And then right above that is that daily resistance. So like we said, we'll see if we can get there. But my bet is we'll maybe come up into this, but I don't think we're going to get all the way to actually touching that thing. You know, we could come up. We could even blow past it a little bit. Who knows? But in terms of trying to take a target or find a target, I would rather pull it off a little bit before that and not have to worry about the chop around than get out up here. And you know, you get up there, that's great. You make some extra money, but to me, I'd rather just take it a little bit sooner on the easier time to jump out. Still waiting on that thing to drop down and get us in. We'll see what happens here. See what the smaller time frames are doing. We got 5 minute bouncing on the 200. All the way down to 1 minute. 1 minute, 200 is pretty far in there. Yeah, not too interesting here. Just really waiting for this 50-minute come down and hit us in. We'll see what happens here. See if we get going. Yeah, no trade on ETH today, it's looking like. especially if you get that trade to the upside. Not a whole lot going on for ETH. Yeah, not a whole lot going on for ETH. If we start to break down, there's a possibility, I guess you could take the ETH to the downside as well. But like we said, the chart is looking, we're hoping to flip bullish for the monthly. So if that's gonna happen, then we're more than likely gonna be up all day today. Now, like I said, we want it to flip bullish, so that's not really like an indicator that it's going to, I guess. It's just more of something that we're watching and hoping for, I guess. Man, that could have been the drawdown right there. Let's see, what do we got on the fibs here? We got a 0.618 right here, so it didn't come all the way down there. Fib lines are nice for that kind of thing. You can kind of look at, typically whenever you see a candle come down, you'll see it reverse kind of into the 0.618 range, which is, if I throw it back on there, 0.618, this green one right here. So right in this zone, and then the other zone it can dip down to too is the 0.786, which is actually a little bit better. And if you see it dip down there, the idea is, and this isn't, you know, like 100% foolproof or anything like that. It's just how you use fibs. The idea is that you're looking at the fibs as kind of like, how far can I get a discount on this? So 0.5 is kind of like, yeah, whatever. It's okay. Typically you'll get 0.5. 0.618 is what they call the golden pocket. But really 0.618 into almost to 0.786. So there's kind of like a little range around the 0.618. That's kind of the golden pocket. So really it probably hit the top of the golden pocket there. And that's one of the best areas you can hit. And typically if you see it reject off of that, it's going to do a pretty decent move to the upside. And then the 0.786 is actually an even better discount. So if it comes down here to there, rejects off of that, then that's an even better place to kind of get in for it. Typically that's not as likely to happen, I guess. If you do see the rejection, the 0.786 is like a lot less likely than the golden pocket. So, you know, it's kind of just playing with the odds, I guess, there on how far down is it going to come. And then also, you know, just is it not going to keep going? That's the other question too. So, you know, just because we came down to the 0.786 and started to go turn a little bit, that doesn't mean we're not necessarily just going to come back down and continue breaking down there. So, and obviously on the 15, it'll probably be all in one candle. But if we head down to the smaller time frames, you'd see price action kind of break up and then start to break back through. But you know, who knows what's going to happen with this? So we'll see where it goes. That could have been the retracement there, though, right into the golden pocket. Still not a bad trade if you took it right there. Like I said, we're still down here a bit, waiting, watching. We think it's going to break down a little bit more than that. Think it's going to come down a little bit more. Yeah, we'll see what happens here, though. All right, that was the close. Yeah, I think there's a possibility it just keeps running right here. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe that was the entry there. There's still a possibility you pull back farther, but I'm gonna have to wait a little bit for that. Yeah, there's still that possibility we come back a little bit farther. Could come back and get us in before we take off to the upside. Come back to the 15,200. We'd like that. Yeah, we'll see. See what happens. It's just trying to rip up. Yeah, really, we just need to see what happens here. Yep, there we go. It hit T3. But we did not get into it. We were a little too stingy, I think. I think we were too stingy, that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, way too stingy. It should have come up a little bit probably. Yeah, honestly, that was the best entry you're gonna get there. Should have been kind of watching that a little harder probably. Here on the 15 or on the 5 minute, we hit that 200. That would have been a great zone to jump in. And like we said, you know, we came down pretty much right into that golden pocket range, so not a bad entry there. I'm thinking we'll probably just continue here. After that, we'll see what happens, but that's kind of my thought there. It is a hard entry. It's one of the more tough trades to take, I would say. It's definitely not a pretty trade, I guess. Yeah, just a nice like spike up. That's like it just keeps going. There wasn't much of a pullback there. Oh boy. Yep, that was probably the trade for the day. Yeah, that was kind of it. Man, definitely missed it there. Don't want to cash an entry. Yeah. 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 I don't know, just a hard trade just because. Yeah, that was more than likely the entry there. Should have taken it right there on that pullback there. Would have been a nice little trade up. Even if you just pulled it at T3. 1-to-1, not too bad, not too bad. Yeah. Fortunately, we were not able to jump into that trade, but that was definitely the trade for the day, I'm thinking. You're just probably going to run up. It'll probably hit our target, I would think. So I guess if we had gotten in here, we would have gotten our 2.44% or 2.44 to 1. So not too bad. But we could see there's still a possibility of it coming down and getting us back in. Again, just it already hit T3. Like I said, we're targeting up here though, so there's a possibility. I guess we kind of reject, do a little pullback, maybe retest the trigger and come up and get us in. But it's just something you're gonna have to kind of pay attention to when it happens. Kind of watch the chart, see what you try to see what's gonna happen. Don't just jump into it. Obviously, you're gonna want to kind of read price action and stuff as you do that. You don't want, yeah, you don't want to lose money on it if it comes down and is really just telling you that it's kind of fallen off and gonna continue down into that short that we were talking about earlier. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. But yeah, unfortunately, I think that was the trade for the day. Yeah, again, we'll see what happens. That was kind of it for the live stream though, so we'll see what happens here on this trade. We'll let you all know. Like I said, technically we didn't get into it, but we'll let you know what ends up happening with the trade we would have taken, I guess. And then if we do end up getting into it, we'll let you know about that too tomorrow. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So yeah, thanks y'all for coming. Thanks for y'all for watching. We're gonna be live here again at 8:30 a.m. CST tomorrow. So if you're looking to join us again, maybe for another trade, hopefully a little bit better of a trade, or at least a little bit better of an entry, then yeah, for sure, join us tomorrow. It'll be a new month starting April. You know, hopefully we'll get an actual trade, not just a joke. You know, we're looking to take something real. So yeah, thanks for joining. We'll catch y'all tomorrow. Yeah, if you guys are interested, we do have a video coming out at 10 as well. So if you're looking to just catch a little bit of somewhat probably of the weekend, but also mostly just yesterday's price action, talking about it, talking about what we were kind of looking for, maybe a couple of extra TA tips and things like that, all packed in one video. It's coming out at 10, so check that out. Spirit Maker does a great job with those. Just kind of covering yesterday and also just talking about different TA tips, how to use the system, all of that kind of stuff. Definitely check that out. Yeah, other than that, we will catch y'all tomorrow for the live stream. Thanks y'all again for joining, and happy trading to y'all.